Welcome to our YouTube channel, When Life Gives You Clemmons.
When Life Gives You Clemmons. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Brandy. And our goal is to really take y'all through our journey. We are first-time home buyers.
Yes.
And we are building a semi-custom. Yeah. Semi-custom new build floor plan in Texas. We do plan on answering a lot of questions and making this a super informative channel.
And real.
Super real. Whenever we're doing anything regarding the house, we hope to have y'all kind of follow along. Or if we don't take you there with us, talk about it with y'all later. Currently, we live in an apartment.
Yes.
And this is probably the longest intro that we'll ever have. But currently, we're in an apartment right now. We will be moving out very shortly. Move in with Kyle's lovely parents and now my in-laws. Thank God for them, so that during this process that we know will be super, super long, they are willing to help us out a little bit and let us crash. So yeah, if you have any questions and you love learning about home buying, the home buying process, you like anything decor, I eventually plan on making a house to home channel. So if you like that type of stuff, then stay tuned. Keep watching. This home building process and purchasing a new build started in October of 2021. So we got married in September.
Yes, we did.
And we knew that we wanted to...
Next step was a house.
We knew we wanted to move into a house so we can get moving with our lives. And so in October, I really started to look on Zillow.
And you had been looking prior.
Zillow, Realtor.com. I mean, like you said, I've been looking prior. I would look on weekends, wake up in the morning, and typically Saturdays, and be like, okay, what home do I want? What home do we want? What's our must-haves? What's our must-nots? I'd say mid-October, after looking at some pre-built homes, we just decided it wasn't for us.
Right.
It was a great conversation to have because I'm a very artistic person and creative, so it was going to be one of two things. Either we get a pre-built home and we have to take a bunch of stuff down to be what we like.
Correct. What we want.
Or we were going to get a new built home and put what we want in it. I mean, at the end of the day, I really do believe that the prices would have been the same or nearly the same.
Really?
Yeah, but yeah. If we would have bought in the lower price bracket and then tore everything out, I think the cost that it would have taken us to put in would have been what we're totaling now. But I do think it's less work on the front end. So we don't have to think about all of the huge issues that you might get with the pre-built. If it's 10 years, he's in insurance industry, so that really he knows.
New plumbing, new AC unit.
The questions that he was having me ask the initial realtor was really about, like he said, new plumbing, new AC units. Yeah. And I mean, we don't have to worry about that with a new build. So it was just the best option for us. So we did go look at a couple of floor plans from different builders. And we liked them.
We had a few that we liked. Again, we came to the table. We knew what we wanted. Location.
Yep.
That's a discussion we had beforehand. But
and we advise that that's a discussion you have before you get out there, because those sales representatives, they're going to ask so many questions.
Right.
As soon as you walk through the door, and you at least want to know something.
Right. About
what you want. It's hard. They can tell you everything about their build, and they're going to try to put words into your mouth. So know what you want before you come in. And I think we had that on lock.
So we found two floor plans.
We had two floor plans that we liked. We loved, quote unquote loved. But there was a couple issues with them.
Nothing was perfect.
And one of our must-haves was the family room. We wanted a huge family room, mainly because Kyle has a very huge immediate family here in Texas. I have a huge immediate family, but my family is split between Chicago and in Texas. So we know that holidays will be big. And also the kitchen space, I love to cook and he loves to eat it. I really wanted a nice kitchen area that I could see myself cooking in. And I don't think I ever fell in love with any of those kitchens. The layouts, the counter space was huge for me. I need a counter space.
There's two that we liked, but it was one that we super liked. And the one that we super liked, the sales counselor was like, hey, we only have 2 lots left. You have to jump on it now.
Right.
And, Brandy, she wanted to jump on it now.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, kind of iffy. We haven't really surveyed the field too much. I feel like we are just jumping on it, and we just started seriously looking in October. And, you pretty much hit me with like a check, like, okay, if you think we need to be looking somewhere else, well, you need to find somewhere else. So,
period.
That was pretty much the next step. So, what's the website that we found?
Newhomesource.com.
Newhomesource.com. So, we were able to find other new builds, and even a new build that was in pre-sale.
Presale is where the properties are going to be sold prior to them being built. There's nothing out there except the model, basically, except in our case it's a little different. They were in phase 2 of presale. So we were able to see actual homes that had already been built from phase 1. And we had made the decision after looking on newhomesource.com that we were going to go with the semi-custom floor plan. Semi-custom versus custom. Semi-custom just means there's pre-floor plans put out already by the builder, and you get to make changes based on options and upgrades.
There, we fell in love with the floor plan, and
this is late October, moving into November. The issue that we fell into there was they weren't in pre-sale yet.
Right.
So phase 2 was they were just talking about it. The roads had
just been paved.
Yeah, the roads had just been paved. They were just going in to do not electrical, but
plumbing. Yeah.
And you can see where lots were going to start to be platted at. However, they weren't pre-selling, so we had to wait about a month to get the call that they were in the pre-sale process. And when I say I called weekly they had already told us like a lot of people wanted to purchase in that community.
Right.
And once I heard that, and I knew that our hearts were set on location and the type of home and how much we could do within it, I made sure to stay on top of it.
Rewind a little bit.
We did go see the model home and loved the model home.
Phenomenal.
Obviously, they give you brochures to show you what other floor plans they have, because the model, they're giving you the big, the bang, and the boom. And we liked the bang, and the boom, but we didn't have the big, bang, boom money, or did we need it? We looked at the brochure and we found that the smaller version of what the model home was. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The smaller version of the model home, literally a replica, basically.
Yeah,
is what we chose.
One step under. Yeah.
One step under.
They didn't technically have the floor plan that we liked, and then we actually lucked out because that same floor plan that was already built and everything, whoever previously owned that home. Something happened with the contract. We was all up in their house, man. We were able to tour that. It was like a model home.
Yeah.
We were able to see the floor plan that we fell in love with online and on paper in person. And so that was really good. We were able to walk through it, see what we were going to do, see what we would change. And then just the rest was just like, hey, let us know when we're able to put money down and start this process. And that's when
the pre-sale comes in.
Right.
We found out, like we said, in December, pre-sale was available. And so once we found out the pre-sale was available, we made the phone call talking with them. And the first thing that they say is, hey, you got to be pre-approved in order to purchase your lot and to get under contract. So, pre-approval. We're going to give you as much as we can based off of
our experience.
We're
not financial advisors.
At all, by any means. The pre-approval process is basically so that they can say, yes, a lender say, yes, we would, if you were to buy a home right now, we would give you the loan for your mortgage.
This much of a loan.
Right. How much can you afford, truthfully? How much are you ready to put down on a house? So that all goes into it. Down payment. They ask you what you want, what you feel comfortable putting down for a down payment, and then they also ask you your type of loan. So it's very important to do your research.
Right.
We did a lot of research prior to speaking with the lenders about the different types of loans, and we went in knowing that we wanted a conventional loan.
Right.
For our own reasons and our own factors. But speak with your lender and your financial advisors who can help you with that type of stuff.
Basically, you have to support
Documentation.
all the documentation. That
W-2s, pay stubs, work history for like the past 2 years, student loans. Basically, I'm in the mindset of like out of sight, out of mind. I had been in that mindset, and I was like, also during COVID right now, no interest, and you don't have to make payments on the student loan, so it's literally out of sight, out of mind. Get this stuff taken care of way before you want to go through the pre-approval process, because
just added more stress.
It was super stressful for me because I needed to be done within days.
Right. We went into it again because thinking 150 people were trying to get these lots, and they only had 100 of them. So we're like, we need to be on it. We need to be on it. So that just added stress to the process.
Anyways.
We got pre-approved.
We got pre-approved. We got 2 pre-approvals.
Yeah, we did. We got 2 pre-approvals.
This is important about pre-approval. Once one lender goes in and says, hey, I'm going to do a hard credit check, that opens the floodgates for credit score checkers for
anybody
30 to 45 days.
Don't hold us.
Don't hold us to that, but I'm pretty sure it's 30 to 45 days, somewhere around there. That any other lender can go in and check your credit without causing another hard credit check, if that makes sense. So it won't affect your credit score each time a lender comes in and checks your credit.
That was just something that happened that we didn't know about going into it, but sharing our experience.
We learned.
Yes.
So, like we said, we got 2 pre-approvals, and another reason why that comes in handy, which we might talk about in a later video, if something goes wrong with this first lender, it's easier to work with somebody else who you started with at the beginning. So that second lender, who knows, they might come into play somewhere down the line if something doesn't work out with the other lender.
Right.
Not to say that you can't, upon closing, can't go find another lender. This just makes it easier.
Right. Pre-approved. What's the next step? We took our documentation to the sales counselor.
To pick our lot.
To pick our lot.
Yeah. So we got to drive around. Got to see what our future neighborhood will look like. And we had some things that I didn't think about, but Kyle started thinking about. He's like, well, I don't want a fire hydrant in my front lawn, and I don't want an electrical box in my front lawn. So those are things that you can look at when you're picking your lot. Now, I've seen a lot of people in previous YouTube videos that I've watched, they pick their home based off of like which way the sun rises. And we're laughing because like we did not care about that at all, like not one bit. Our main concern was we didn't want to be a corner lot.
Right.
Because he's in insurance, he's seen people like run into the homes and the side. Like, we don't want a corner lot. That's just I know a lot of people will pay that high premium for it. That wasn't us.
What?
However, we did not want a corner lot. We got 2 dogs. They were a high priority to us. So basically, our dogs will get out of the yard if they're not fenced in appropriately. And we would rather them run into somebody else's backyard versus them running into the forest preserve. So we didn't want our backyard towards the forest preserve. But other than that, we wanted to be on a higher elevation than other homes so that when it's raining outside, it will run off of our
backyard space.
Space of the yard. So when we were looking at the plats based off of their map that they provided us, you can see the dimensions. We wanted a pretty nice size backyard because we want to eventually put a pool in there, and we also still want room for the dogs to be able to run around. We went with the lot that had no premium on it at all, but still had the same square footage.
Yeah. So mind you, I think, we are at this point are maybe the 4th.
Oh, this is important.
Family to start here
Best part about Presale.
We had the, we could pick anything. So that's why we were able to pick the no premium with the, a large backyard and all that good stuff. So that's why it was good that, Brandy, wifey here, was on it and calling, and she was able to find out exactly when they were starting to sell. And we jumped on it, got the pre-approval immediately, and we picked our lot.
So like faux pro tip here, If you can get into a community that is just starting pre-sale, that is so beneficial for you, because as the time goes on in that selling process, they are going to raise the premiums. And a lot like ours probably will end up having a premium on it. Also, we got to look at lots before they put their spec homes on it. So it's basically what the builder, they put their choices of upgrades in a house, and they build that house without any buyer on it. And they will put it up for sale, list it on their own. And so we were able to get into the community before spec homes were even put down. So that's just another tip for the pre-sale process.
Next is to start the contract. So everything had gone well, and it's still going well. But this is when we kind of hit our first kind of like slow and lull moment, getting under contract. And so with our builders, getting under contract meant choosing every structural option, decision you want in the home.
I know everybody's builder is different, but they would talk about the design center, right? And I know a lot of people, your design center might include structural and color choices, color designs, whatever. Ours was different. The structural part came, what is it going to be, 2 months before you pick out colors and
go to the design
floors and countertops, right?
Which I understand, it's the structural. So it's the, do you want this kind of roof or staircase or this kind of bedroom? So those are the things they needed to know to make the blueprint, which we weren't made privy to, pretty much any time before. Like,
we didn't know.
We would have liked to be sitting on that structural options, but we weren't. So we came in trying to get under contract, but then they were like, nope, tell us your structural.
How big do you want your closet?
Your stairs.
Do you want a longer hallway?
Right.
Do you want curved stairs or regular stairs? Do you want a butler pantry?
Open concept. We
would have wanted to know those prices beforehand, because let me tell you, that was a 6-hour appointment. Yeah. It was horrible. And honestly, for me, it made the home buying process, it was my least favorite part. And I honestly don't blame it on the builder itself. I blame it on, well, it's still their fault. The representative we were working with, it was very difficult to work with her. She was inexperienced. So if that's something that you don't want to be new and somebody else you're working with is new, you should probably ask those questions, because basically this was her first time doing a pre-sale. Yeah. And it showed. We spent 6 hours picking structurals. And we will have another video where we explain the cost of all of our structurals and all of our designs in general that we pick out at the design center after we go to the design center. So that is to come. Another thing I want to bring up is the prices. So you have your base price when you pick your home. And that's all fun. And it makes you think like, yeah, we got this.
That's cheap.
This is cheap. We got a deal. But then those structural upgrades come in, and
you're like,
you
want a bathroom? You want a bedroom?
It's like,
you want some windows?
It's not that in depth, but basically like everything you can think of is an upgrade. So don't think that base price is where it's gonna stop. Like, you're gonna have additional prices, additional costs on top of your base price. And that's something that you can also factor into in your pre-approval process. Like, great idea to have a budget.
Right.
Your max of what you're willing to spend, and ask your lender, what would my mortgage look like if we spent this high in total, right? So very important to know what is your budget. And we know that later on in the design center, there's going to be also more costs. But before we go back, we did pull in the realtor.
Going back and forth with the sales counselor, it was just not good. Again, Brandy spoke on before, ours was somewhat new, and that was clear. And we had a lot of questions. We were particular people. We know what we wanted, and she wasn't really giving it to us. So we were like, hey, let's go get somebody who can hopefully whip her into shape. And so we did. We contacted the realtor, and it helped a little bit, especially at the beginning.
We'll have a whole nother video on whether you should get a realtor or not if you're dealing with a new build, and then also whether you should get a general contractor. But we did get a realtor. She did at least get the sales representative to pick up the phone because she wasn't really picking up the phone and speaking with us much.
Right.
She was just too busy to work with us in detail like we needed her to.
We able to get things moving, and we picked our structural things, and we signed a contract.
We signed a contract, but wait, you just skipped like a whole...
I skipped a lot.
Oh my gosh. Okay, basically, so this is an informative channel, and so we would like to help people who are trying to build during this time period at least, because we are firsthand seeing it. So in a contract, there are different clauses that we would like y'all to be aware of, or that you should ask the builder before you get into deep with them, to know what you're dealing with. And maybe that is a reason why you want to pick a realtor, so you can see if you want to negotiate some of those terms that are in those contracts. So one of those terms are new due to the COVID life. It's called the Escalation Clause. And basically the Escalation Clause is different than there's two different types of escalation clauses that can be in a real estate contract. However, in this process, the Escalation Clause is basically saying that if materials increase by 10% or more than what they were at the time that you signed the contract, then the builder has the right to come in and ask you to pay for those additional costs, and they would add those costs to your contract price at the end. So that's not them saying, okay, give me $25,000 right now because we just realized that's going to cost us $25,000 more. No, but it is going to be added to the price on your contract. So that's something to keep in mind, of giving yourself a buffer when you're putting in those upgrades. Like, don't hit the top of your budget if you have an escalation clause, because there is a chance that that builder might utilize that escalation clause. Yeah. Another thing is delays. During COVID, just know that there may be clauses in there that speaks to the delays. In our contract specifically, the original contract showed 8 to 10 months. Yeah. And she had us cross out 8 to 10 months and put 12 to 18 months. Yeah. So that's what they're quoting us right now, 12 to 18 months from the date of contract signing, which was like January 22nd, I believe, somewhere around there. Which is sad, but at the same time, it gives us so much time to save. So again, it was something we were willing to work with. The third thing is the appraisal value. Your contract may mention something about if your house doesn't appraise, which could mean that whatever price they expected it to be, if the value of your home is less based on you not putting enough upgrades, they're going to charge you the cost that they lost, the price that you over appraise. They're going to charge you because that's not what they anticipated. And you are bringing up the housing market in that entire home community. We're not pros on the appraisal factor. We're just hoping
not yet.
Right. We're just hoping that
not ever.
It doesn't happen to us. So, there's going to be warranties inside your contract. Just know that you should look into your warranty. Super important, right? For insurance purposes.
Absolutely.
And then, a huge thing that we found in our contract was learning about the entire timeline and process. I know we continued to ask our sales representative, okay, what's next? Or, yeah, we wanted to know what the future looks like.
It's the first time.
Right. Tell us everything.
Please.
And it was like, she couldn't do that, but the contract did, so that was good. Yeah. We were able to see when our inspections...
Builder meeting, light meeting, this meeting, that meeting, walkthrough.
That was good. That was really good to see. So these are things that you want to look for in the contract, and if your builder doesn't provide that inside the contract, ask them. Can you give that to us? And
so what date now are we get to the contract point?
January 22nd is when we were on our...
So you see how December is when we...
December 27th to be exact.
Right. And now here, mid-January, we're finally getting to the contract. So as we said before, we were back and forth to that model / someone else's home that they didn't have the money for.
Right.
We were back and forth in that home. Like, all right, this is what we want.
I might insert that video of the floor plan that we chose, and then also the model home somewhere in this video. So that was the process leading up to the contract. So we hope to make another video here soon of what comes after the contract. So what's to look forward to. Right. There's going to be a lot of down periods, and that's because there's so much happening behind the scenes
Mm-hmm.
that don't have to deal with building a home not building a home, but physically that you can see. We won't see the house foundation go in until maybe another month, I might say.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still things happening. Permits are getting written. The contractors and the builders are talking to each other.
Making blueprints.
Right. There's
getting
nothing.
this stuff approved by the city.
There we go.
Getting things approved by corporate.
Yeah. Can I just say that one of my most exciting parts were when we picked our lot was getting an address. Like that was super exciting for me.
Yeah, we got the address.
We have our address, so that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. So yeah, we hope to share more of the process. This is just the start of the journey. We hope
literally.
Literally the very beginning, and this could be, you guys could be following us for another 12 months, maybe 16.
Don't say that.
Comment for us if you got a realtor or not, so we can know how much we want to go into that on our next video. Comment down below if you had any problems with your sales representative, because I want to know that. I'm really curious. And third, comment below of if you have an actual design center or not. Like in our case, we'll go into it later in our design center video, but we just had basically a room to go into.
It was a design room.
Inside the model
Closet.
home. It was a room. But inside the model home.
8 by 8.
Right. Where we know that people have an actual design center, a store to go into. Which, I don't know if I would even need that because I don't want...
Yeah, we do. We don't.
I don't want their upgrades. Like, what is it called? Aesthetic upgrades, because they're going to overcharge you. But that's another video for another
time.
But at the end of the day, please comment below if you had a design center off-site place or was it inside of the model home for you. And I think that's it.
That's it.
And like the cool YouTubers say, please like this video if you enjoyed it and you learned something today, anything at all. Or like it if you just think we're cool. Comment below with those responses. Don't comment negative stuff.
We don't do that.
We don't do that. Please don't do that. Please just don't comment negative
Just
stuff.
comment nice stuff, please.
Comment nice stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe. Not share. Subscribe. That's what the cool YouTubers say. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is When Life Gives You Clemmons.
Yeah.